Ready. Play.
So one more thing, of course, Indian Wells is coming up. As I said, we're not going to be talking about like details because, well, we don't have the draw and we're kind of also unsure about how the courts will play even, but that's actually a topic. How do you feel about the sandpaper courts getting removed? And obviously now it's going to be just a normal lake cold surface.
I have read that somebody in Shelton's camp said it plays faster, and that was the general feeling when the news broke out. I only dubbed a little bit, meaning that the court is not the only factor, that makes the conditions lower or faster. For example, I went to check the court pace index and for 2024. That the official one that the ATP shows, and Indian Wells apparently was a bit faster last year than Miami.
That's been the
Already.
case for many years, yeah, but it didn't play
Yeah.
faster. I think this
Yes,
article that we have
exactly.
on our screen, it would do better to say just like we'll have faster conditions rather than a faster court, right?
Yeah, and that's why I'm just a little bit doubtful about, if it will really be a big change or it will just be, maybe slightly faster or something like that. But I still don't know, because as we know, there are many factors that we have to take into account. At times the conditions in tennis also changes for example, from night session to day session. So it's all difficult. We have to, of course, there are of course now the players practicing. So if we reach out to some player, probably somebody will be able to tell us a little bit before. But I've seen too much speculation being made before actually watching the tennis there to of course no, WTA qualies have started actually already.
Yes, yesterday there was the first round, but I didn't watch any of it, so I can't say
me
much.
neither. So let's say that I don't want to give a big judgment too fast, because the court and the surface is not the only thing which makes. For example, even the clay, Madrid and Rome, for a lot of years Rome has had a higher index than Madrid, but everybody of course reminds us that due to the altitude and everything, Madrid plays a bit faster, seems like a little bit indoor. So there are many things to take into consideration.
Yeah, I think one of the parts of the how unique the old Indian Wells courts were was definitely the bounce. I mean, it was just behaving like a clay court sort of. I'm with Daniil Medvedev on the fact that it wasn't really a hard court, like it was something different. But I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. I like the fact that Indian Wells and Miami had such very like distinct conditions. And my hope is that because of the, basically where the events are located, especially the desert in Indian Wells, I think that it will still play differently. I just hope it's like different enough. And Rome, Madrid, obviously it's the same now, right? So you've got 4 weeks of action basically. But Rome and Madrid, they play very different despite both of these being clay courts. In fact, clay courts as a whole, like we have so many clay courts on the tour and they're all different to one another. Like it's very hard to just find a surface where like, this is normal clay. Like there's no such thing as normal clay really. With hard courts, it's a bit easier. If you just place all the events in like, I don't know, and a city where it's not too dry, not too humid, not too hot, not too cold, they would play very similar if they're laid by the same company. The old Indian Wells surface used to have so much sand in the mix that the ball just like kind of sat up, in place after hitting the ground. I didn't really enjoy the court profile generally, but I do think that yes, right now it was just something very unique. So I'm afraid of losing that. I'm afraid of the whole March looking just like 4 weeks of tennis in the same sort of court. Doesn't matter that it's really Indian Wells or Miami. I don't think it will be quite like that, but that's obviously something that we have to just like check out. As I said previously, I didn't see the any of the women's qualifying action. Maybe after today I'll have some conclusions, as obviously men's qualifying, I'm just like putting on the first matches, when it starts in 2 hours and 43 minutes. So hopefully there I will have some conclusions, but for now I just can't say much.
Yeah.
Indeed, what Gil is pointing out here, the press release is a little bit weird. I think tennis, one of the best parts about tennis, it's that it's literally the only sport where you have free surfaces. You have so many different conditions, which like literally impact how the sport works. I don't know if you're playing table tennis, wherever you do, it's a table. It's the same table.
Yeah.
There's no difference. I mean, obviously altitude can also impact it, but in tennis you just have every single court playing differently. And indeed, I think this is something we should be maintaining, simply because this is what makes the sport stand out, and this is what keeps it fun. So yeah, that's my only kind of like worry here. But I agree with what I think Gene said, and yeah, about the weather also being such an important thing. And yes, speed isn't the only thing. Yesterday, someone
The wind.
was actually
Indian Wells has always been very windy as well.
the wind as well. Yes, I mean, yesterday someone was texting me about the Indian Wells courts because they saw a photo that I took when I was in Lille of the surface, which was also laid by Lakehold, and I'm like, yeah, I can't tell you much because it's not going to be the same. Like the court is only one of the factors, really. So we just have to wait and see. Well, we did speak about the new strings for Steph. We basically have spoken about everything by now. Okay, Ozan, yes, tables are also different, but in table tennis, I mean, you're not going to play on some random ass table in a big event, right? I mean, they're all the same. They're all using the same table. Obviously, you're going to have different tables in like, your local gym, but I'm just talking about how the pro sport looks. And in tennis, we have so many different surfaces and conditions that I do think it keeps it fun. Anyway, I think that's more or less it, unless you have anything more to add, Mario.
No, I think that's it. I enjoy these weeks, but now, I mean, time to be back to some big events like Indian Wells. So we'll see what we will talk about in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and obviously we have 2 more pieces of content coming out on Talking Tennis today. One of them will be WTA Weekly in a few hours, and also the live reaction to the Indian Wells draw. I actually don't know how they are releasing it. Is it like a ceremony or sorts? I don't know. Anyway, it will be there. Some people will be there, so don't worry. B-Man will be at Indian Wells in the sense that he will be on call, Matthew, I'm sure. I mean, definitely if there's a B emergency, then Lance Davis is going to be there momentarily, but I'm not sure he's going to be there in sitting in the crowd and just waiting for it to happen. Obviously, he also has other people he has to tend to, right? He's not like the personal B eliminator of Larry Ellison or Tommy Haas. So, but yeah, I mean, I hope he's going to show up. Like, I don't care. I don't care that it's going to be a 1 hour long delay. I want Lance Davis to be there again. And just be the beautiful man that he is. Yogi doesn't think that this should be the case.
We have been told lately there haven't been many classics at Indian Wells, but this was definitely a classic.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is something we're going to be talking about for years to come, and this is going to be like a tennis memory that for new tennis fans, this is what you'll be telling them about, and they'll be like, "What? This happened?" And yes, buzz off is actually a good pun there. Yeah, he'll be sitting next to Bill Gates and Larry Ellison for sure. He gains that. He is one of the 10 richest men on the planet after last year. Anyway, yeah, should be some watch-alongs and live shows during Indian Wells as well. So we're gonna keep the content rolling on Talking Tennis as we usually do. Thank you, Mario. Thank you to everybody in the chat. And see you shortly.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.